Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. All people, long live. Start with a billion god level halo. Chapter 1. The profession I transferred to is Summoner. On the job transfer stage, when Chen Yang heard the system prompt, he was a little surprised. This profession, not bad. Under the attention of many students around him, he walked down the transfer platform with a calm expression. No one knew that he was a transmigrator. And it had been 18 years since he had traveled to Blue Star, and he had already understood the situation in this world. This is the era of national transformation. 100 years ago, countless secret realms and dungeons appeared all over the world, among which monsters were entrenched and extremely dangerous. Once humans fail to clear the secret realm or dungeon within the specified time, the monsters in the secret realm will flood into reality. To ward off monsters, every human being will change careers when they become adults, and they will level up and become stronger. Warrior, mage, rogue, archer. There are hundreds of occupations in total, including combat occupations, auxiliary occupations, and logistics occupations, each playing a role in this era of national career change, guarding human society. Summoner is definitely one of the most powerful professions. Certainly, the key depends on the summoner, what can be summoned. All in all, Chen Yang is quite satisfied with the result of his job transfer. After all, it's not an auxiliary or logistical occupation. Subsequently, he came to a beautiful head teacher in a black suit under the stage, reported to her, and registered his occupation. Oh, summoner. Lu Yuyao's beautiful eyes lit up. She is a new teacher from Zhongnan No. 1 High School, and she leads the class for the first year this year. Did not expect. There is a summoner directly in the class. This job is quite good. Certainly, the most important thing is to see what the summoner can summon, which requires testing the physique of the summoner. Some summoners have a plant affinity physique, and all summoned are plants. It also has an animal-friendly physique that can summon various small animals. Of course, this is relatively useless, the probability of occurrence is relatively low, and there is basically no combat power. Although it is a summoner, its social status is not as good as other combat occupations. However, some summoners have the dragon affinity physique, and they can summon young dragons at the beginning of the game. There are also summoners with ancient breath physique, directly summoning the ancient juvenile demon and juvenile titan. Compared with traditional combat occupations, this type of summoner, it's the real horror. After all, no matter how strong other professions are, there is only one person. As for the summoner, one summoned creature is unlocked every 10 levels. After reaching several hundred levels in the later stage, he can summon dozens of subordinates. If all of them are trained to be top-level powerhouses, completely crushing other professions. Certainly, it is precisely because of the need to train multiple subordinates. Therefore, if a summoner wants to develop, it needs an extremely astonishing training cost. Ordinary people may not be able to cultivate a top-level summoned creature in a lifetime, let alone cultivate a group. Chen Yang, since you're a summoner. The beautiful head teacher Lu Yuyao, with some anticipation, took out a physique test stone from the storage pendant. Put your hand on this stone and test your physique. Look into her expectant eyes. Chen Yang was also a little nervous. After all, for a summoner, what kind of physique is very important. At the same time, around him, there are many classmates, all looking at this curiously. Wow, classmate Chen Yang turned into a summoner, he's really lucky. Are there going to be a great god in our class? Chen Yang was originally handsome, and he changed his job to become a summoner, so he can't be a school flower killer. Don't panic, maybe he can detect a plant affinity, or an animal affinity. He. Plants are friendly, can only summon flowers and plants. Or animals are friendly to summon small animals. If these two physiques are true, then he can be barbecue. Under the attention of the surrounding students, Chen Yang stretched out his hand and placed it on the test stone Lu Yuyao gave him. He wrapped the test stone in his palm, feeling the mysterious temperature contained in it. According to his physique, on the test stone, some mysterious symbols appeared. Ah, these symbols, have you never seen them before? At first glance, Lu Yuyao was a little confused. She is also well informed, but Chen Yang's physique is a bit special, and she has never appeared. She immediately took out an imitation ancient book, the Summoner's Codex, from the storage pendant. Open the book. You can see the symbols corresponding to various physiques recorded in it. The surrounding students all craned their necks, wanting to see what kind of summoner Chen Yang was. Result: Lu Yuyao looked at it for a while, and soon her face became strange. According to the ancient book records and comparisons, Chen Yang, your physique is a girl's friend. Question mark, question mark, question mark. This time, not only the surrounding students, but also Chen Yang himself was a little confused. What the hell? Girlfriends. Not to mention, he is really popular at ordinary times, and many beautiful girls confess to him and are regarded as male gods. But he always thought that was because he was handsome. Result: God's special girlfriend. Then what can I summon with my physique? Chen Yang was stunned and asked a little nervously. Look at the picture yourself. Lu Yuyao supported her forehead and helplessly handed over the ancient book in her hand. Chen Yang took the ancient book curiously. From the ancient book, I can still feel the residual warmth that Lu Yuyao just took. This. He saw that some patterns were drawn on the page that recorded the physique of friends of girls. They are all phantoms of girls with graceful figures. There is a graceful figure like an angel with wings behind him. There are 9 tails spread out, obviously a girl transformed from a 9-tailed fox. An elf girl with long ears, holding a bow and a staff. There is even a charming figure with a tail in the shape of a heart. Chen Yang is also an old driver, and he recognizes it at a glance. This seems to be a succubus. It seems that all you can summon are these girls from different worlds and different races. Lu Yuyao said with a strange expression. Looks like, yeah. Chen Yang scratched his head. When the students onlookers heard it, their eyes widened and they showed envious expressions. I'm super, isn't this too cool? Can you summon all kinds of girls from other worlds? I have sharp eyes, and I saw there was a succubus on that book. I'm sore. My god, I'm envious, not only a summoner, but also a beautiful woman. This is too happy. Woo, how can Chen Yang switch to this profession? If all he summons are beautiful women, wouldn't he have a higher vision for finding girlfriends in the future? No, what we should consider is, if he has summoned so many beautiful girls, does he still need to find a female friend? ... Countless boys are envious and jealous. As for some girls who like Chen Yang, they are a little annoyed. What a summoner, what a girl from another world, this is so annoying. Isn't this stealing their male god? Okay, don't talk about it. The head teacher Lu Yuyao listened to the students talking, and quickly coughed. Next, Su Qimeng, transfer to the job transfer platform. ... The career transfer ceremony of number 1 high school is still going on. However, after Chen Yang completed the job transfer and registered his occupation, he left the school playground alone. Some people like to stay, watch other classmates change careers, and point fingers. But Chen Yang has little interest in others. He is more curious. What kind of girl can you summon at the beginning of the game? After 10 minutes, Chen Yang returned to the 1 bedroom and 1 bedroom he rented. The room is not big, but very cozy. Every summoner's first summon is a sacred ceremony, and Chen Yang must take it seriously. Back home, Chen Yang closed the door and window. Draw the curtains. In the small living room, I closed my eyes. Started his first call. The place is a bit shabby. But there is no way. He is a transmigrator, he has no parents and no parents for 18 years, and he has been able to live on official subsidies until now. After all, in an age where it all depends on strength. He hasn't changed jobs yet. There is no way to make money at all. With his meditation, soon, in the middle of the living room where he was, the lines of a magic circle gradually appeared. The lines traveled and extended on the floor, connecting, intertwining, and interlacing. In the end, a pentagram magic circle was formed. Immediately, a burst of silver-white light flashed past, appearing in front of Chen Yang. It's a beautiful girl in a blue and white dress. Chen Yang glanced at it. Big eyes, big legs, big. Whoa. This is too cruel, right? After all, it is his own summoned creature. Chen Yang is not embarrassed, but looks at it generously. White hair, blue eyes, long ears, an elf. The first time he even summoned a white-haired elf girl. The flawless face, the skin as white as jade, especially the graceful figure, made Chen Yang unable to look away for a while. And from Chen Yang's appreciative gaze, let the elf girl who was just summoned look a little angry, stretch out a small hand around her chest, and say fiercely, "Human. Don't look at it again. It's just my summoned creature, little elf, how dare you murder me?" Chen Yang was a little surprised. Doesn't it mean that the summoned creatures of the summoner are 100% obedient? "I'm not a pixie," the elf girl said angrily. "Well, that's right." Chen Yang glanced at her chest and nodded in approval. "It's really not small. It can be said to be very spectacular." Question mark, question mark, question mark. The elf girl was a little confused. The human who summoned himself. Why so annoying? Too rude. The elf girl stood up straight with her long legs, stood on tiptoe very hard, and looked down at Chen Yang reluctantly, with a pair of beautiful eyes with pride. "I am the elf princess. Human, although you summoned me, we are equal. The dwarf still wants equality." Chen Yang pouted. He looked at the other party's funny appearance, took 2 steps forward, stretched out his hand, and pressed it on her soft shoulder. He pressed down on her tiptoe at once. Suddenly, she became half a head shorter than Chen Yang. "Princess Elf, right." Chen Yang was quite satisfied, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. "This looks pretty good, I'll take a look at your attributes." Elf Princess. Sylvie. Age. Height. 165 centimeters. Weight. 46 kilograms. Bust. D. Leg length. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Chen Yang took a look at the attributes of this elf girl and was a little confused. Not right. Shouldn't the attribute panel of summoned creatures be about strength and physique, plus talent skills or something? How can I show him this? Even so, this information is mind-blowing. But Chen Yang is still very concerned about her combat attributes. He studied for a while. "I just found out that his attribute panel can be switched between life attributes and combat attributes. It's weird, never heard of such a thing." Chen Yang was a little helpless. Then, he switched to the battle attribute panel of the elf girl. Elf Princess. Sylvie. Current level. 1. Strength. 25. Physique. 21. Agility. 24. Spirit. 32. Talent. Light element affinity S grade. When releasing healing and auxiliary skills, the effect is increased by 50%. Skill 1. Holy Light. When released on the enemy, cause a small amount of light damage. When released to an ally, it provides a healing effect, and the amount of healing is related to its own spirit attribute. Skill 2. Attack Blessing. Release it on a single friendly ally, increasing the damage output of the unit by 30%. That's it. Still a priest. Chen Yang glanced at it and was a little disappointed. Certainly, strictly speaking, the fighting attributes of this elf princess are outstanding. First of all, the initial 4-dimensional attributes all exceeded 20 points, and the spirit even reached 32 points. Secondly, the talent is also S-level light element affinity. As for the initial skills, you don't need to look at them, anyway, she will learn other skills in the follow-up. Just the initial attributes and talents already mean that this elf princess is extraordinary. Only, Chen Yang felt that he was a transmigrator. It seems that such a summoned creature with S-level talent seems a bit unworthy of him. Aren't all the traversers starting at the SSS level? It seems to be the disappointment in Chen Yang's eyes. The elf princess Sylvie couldn't help a little. This princess is a genius of our tribe. Human, are you dissatisfied with this princess's strength? It's so-so, it's barely okay, but it's not worthy of my identity. Chen Yang said. Humph, little human beings, the tone is not small. Sylvie turned her face away and said arrogantly. What? Small? Being called small by one's own summoned creatures, can this be tolerated? Say the wrong thing and punish you for doing 100 push-ups first. Chen Yang waved his hand. After giving the order, he lay down on the sofa and looked at her with interest. Question mark, question mark, question mark. The fairy princess was stunned. Of course she doesn't want to obey orders from humans, but she is Chen Yang's summoned creature. For Chen Yang's order, she has absolutely no resistance. Then, although she was extremely reluctant, her body moved involuntarily. The delicate elf girl started doing push-ups on the floor. Chen Yang was lying on the sofa, glancing at her. Immediately, I almost bleed. Nima. The blue and white skirt the elf girl is wearing has a loose neckline. When doing push-ups, it looks from Chen Yang's point of view. He could see an obvious _ren_ glyph, Snow White and Snow White. This scene made Chen Yang in awe. However, now is not the time to think about it. He thought for a moment. Although this elf girl's combat power is average, it's okay, she can still be rescued. Let's see what my awakened professional talent is. While Sylvie was doing push-ups, Chen Yang opened his attribute panel. In this transition era, for other professions, the talent of the professional will be awakened when the first skill is learned. But the summoner, it is when the first subordinate is summoned to awaken his talent. Chen Yang thought to himself, if you are a dignified traveler, if you don't have any other golden fingers, and your subordinate is just an elf princess who is barely okay, that would be too embarrassing for the traveler, right? However, when he opens the properties panel, when he looked at his talent column, he was stunned on the spot. The talent he just awakened. It is a god-level talent, Infinite Halo. This talent allowed him to directly unlock countless god-level auras at the beginning. Countless god-level auras appeared in his talent list. I guessed it would be fierce, but I didn't expect it to be so fierce. Chen Yang was dumbfounded. He glanced casually. In the list of god-level auras listed, there are all kinds of auras. What, invincible, can give him and his summons a 1000% increase in attack power, that is, tenfold. There is also the Holy Shield, which increases the defense power of him and his summons tenfold. The power of Yufeng increases the speed of him and his subordinates tenfold. And many more. Every god-level halo can make him and his summoned creatures have a qualitative change in their combat power. Certainly, it's only starting now, and Chen Yang has only one halo slot. That is to say, for these god-level auras, Chen Yang can only choose one of them to activate for the time being, but he can switch at any time. As the level increases, he can open more aura slots, and at that time he can activate multiple god-level auras at the same time. If this develops, dozens or hundreds of god-level auras are activated at the same time, wouldn't it be invincible? Even now, I can switch and activate different god-level auras at different times to deal with different situations. And many more. What kind of halo is this? Chen Yang kept scanning the halo list. His gaze was fixed on a strange halo. Heavier than Mount Tai, god-level aura after activation, apply 10 times the gravity to surrounding units can be switched to take effect on friendly units. This halo seems interesting. Chen Yang glanced at the elf princess who was doing push-ups in front of her. With her strength and physical attributes, it was too easy to do 100 push-ups. That being the case, let's make it harder for her. God-level halo, heavier than Mount Tai, activate. The moment when Chen Yang gave the order, a burst of gray light, centered on his body, spread out around him. Chen Yang switched the heavier than Mount Tai aura to take effect on allies. Moreover, he lowered the effect of the halo, or if he went down 10 times the gravity, he was afraid that the girl's thin waist would be crushed. Then, when that gray light enveloped the girl, the elf princess, who was doing push-ups with resentment, suddenly felt that her body was 3 times heavier. A slim body of less than 100 pounds. Under the pressure of nearly 300 pounds. This weight, even if she has 25 points of strength, it is difficult to hold up. Immediately, she was crushed to the floor at once, and a pair of soft giant pandas were crushed. Ooh, Sylvie cried. Isn't it an elf princess? Isn't it amazing? Why can't you stand 3 times the gravity? Chen Yang clicked his tongue and said, forget it, I'll lower it down for you, double the gravity, and finish these 100 push-ups. In the transition era, the physique, strength and other attributes of an adult human are all around 12 to 15 o'clock. The elf princess looked weak. But her strength is 25 points and her physique is 21 points, far exceeding that of ordinary humans. So, under twice the gravity, she is equivalent to carrying 46 kilograms more, and it is not a problem to finish these 100 push-ups. Certainly. Even so. Adertisement. By the time she finished, she was exhausted and out of breath. 98, 99, 100. She completed the task and stood up quickly, her chest heaving violently. Then, she gave Chen Yang a vicious look. This human being is really disgusting. Are you done? Come and relax for you. Chen Yang searched in the Halo list. Just found something nice. Power of vibration. God level Halo makes surrounding units vibrate at a frequency of 100 times per second. For weight loss, the effect is outstanding, whoever uses it knows. Is this a God level Halo? Chen Yang was too lazy to complain. It should work fine though. I don't know, how does this vibration effect compare to massage? Chen Yang was quite curious. He cancelled the gravity halo just now. Instead, activate, shock power. A burst of white light spread out and enveloped him and Sylvie at the same time. Next moment, Chen Yang, who was sitting on the sofa, and Sylvie, who was standing on the floor, began to vibrate almost at the same time. Their hands, legs, and all over the body began to vibrate 100 times per second. I'm super, this is cooler than a massage chair. Chen Yang suddenly became sour. Lying on the sofa, he enjoyed it very much. But, the elf girl is panicking. She found herself, and suddenly her whole body trembled uncontrollably. People, kind. Due to the whole body shaking. She spoke with an accent, as if speaking to an electric fan. She is panicking. What did Chen Yang do to her? So comfortable, what is this girl doing standing up? Chen Yang was a little overwhelmed seeing her. He reached out his hand and pulled her onto the sofa. Then, on the sofa, the two of them vibrated together at a high speed, and they stuck together when they shook. But, because this vibrating halo is too sour, Chen Yang didn't notice for a while. After enjoying it for about 10 minutes, he felt a little numb from the shock, and finally turned off the vibration halo. Ha, comfortable. Can't you imagine that you can still have such a god-level aura? Chen Yang was unexpected. Even if he was a transmigrator, he never thought that his talent would unfold so miraculously. Just when he was about to research other auras, the elf girl who was already numb and fell softly on his shoulders was about to cry. I have to say that she was so shaken just now that she felt a special sour feeling. But, when she vibrates over, she found, her long smooth snow-white hair turned into a mess. To know, she is an elf princess. When have you been so embarrassed? Human, you are too much. She turned her pretty face sideways. Grabbed Chen Yang's arm. Ah woo, one bite will take a bite out of anger. Pity. Chen Yang responded quickly, seeing that his arm was about to be poisoned. Oh no, poisonous mouth, so he quickly gave an order, Sylvie, go to the bed. ? The elf princess opened her eyes wide, stood up reluctantly, and walked towards the bed in the bedroom next to her. When she got up, she still opened her mouth and tried to bite down. Pity. For Chen Yang's orders, she can only obey unconditionally. Conspiracy against the master. Punish you to do 100 sit-ups. Chen Yang continued to order. ... Sylvie took off her small cloth shoes and went to bed wearing a long skirt and white stockings. Then, obediently do sit-ups. From Chen Yang's point of view, I saw her lying on the bed, with a pair of slender thighs wrapped in white silk, tightly close together. The sit-up action showed her almost perfect and graceful figure vividly. Chen Yang admired it with satisfaction. Should say or not. Regardless of her appearance or figure, this elf girl is the best and most perfect among the girls he has ever seen. Compared to her, among the beautiful ladies and sisters that Chen Yang has seen, one counts as one, and all of them can only be used as foils. To know, the elves are known for their beauty. What about the fairy princess? But, at this time, the elf princess was on Chen Yang's bed and was ordered to do sit-ups by him. She wanted to cry a little. If it were another human being, and an elf princess like her was summoned, she would definitely be sacrificed. But, she met, what kind of master is this? Soon. 100 sit-ups are finally done. She woke up viciously. Going back to Chen Yang again, he didn't dare to be rude to him again. Chen Yang saw it in his eyes and was very satisfied. Yes, this is the consciousness of being a summoned creature. How can you talk to the master? Not right either. It's okay to move your mouth. But the place to bite is not the arm. Cough. Good. It's right to be as cute as you are now, otherwise you won't be liked. Chen Yang looked at the unlovable elf girl, smiled and pinched her little face. Sylvie was caught off guard and couldn't escape. When she reacted, the residual warmth of Chen Yang's fingers was already left on her little face, which made her a little dumbfounded. Own. To be pinched in the face by a hateful human. Long live. She has never been pinched in the face by any opposite since she was a child. Result. Is this being. Okay, let's tidy up your hair first. Chen Yang pressed her shoulder. He brought her to the mirror in front of the wardrobe, and handed her a comb. She was still pissed, but as soon as she saw her hair in the mirror, her hair became messy, and the girl suddenly shifted her attention. OMG, is it still you in the mirror? Why is your hair so messy? Sylvie suddenly wanted to cry. Beauty is the nature of girls. As soon as she snatched the comb that was handed over, she began to comb her hair. When you're done, I'll take you out to upgrade. Chen Yang went on to say something. Sylvie's little hand that was combing her hair froze. A little incredible, it's obviously the princess who took you to upgrade. You are a novice summoner, what kind of combat power can you have? I just said you were good, why did you start questioning your master again? Chen Yang patted her head. It seems that this little girl still hasn't learned enough lessons. Humph, the humans of fish lips. Sylvia looked arrogant. I don't admit that you are the master of this princess. Pity, it can't be her. Call the master, Chen Yang ordered with great interest. Owner, Sylvie cried out involuntarily. Then he quickly reached out his hand and covered his mouth, his face flushed with anger. So angry. You can't disobey your master's orders or something, that's disgusting. While the elf girl was combing her hair, Chen Yang checked his divine aura again. This halo, there are too many types, right? Columns of god-level halos and various effects made him dazzled. Suddenly, he saw a halo. Power of the wind god-level halo, you and your summons are wrapped in the power of the wind and can fly freely in the air. The flight speed is related to the agility attribute. So cool. What kind of fairy halo is this? You can fly at the beginning. Chen Yang was a little dumbfounded. He doesn't even need to look at the combat halo, anyway, he can be invincible with just 2 halos. But, his god-level talent, the most important thing is other various special auras. Each of these halos has a completely different effect. For example, this, wind power, can make him fly. To know, ADERTISEMENT. If you want to learn the ability to fly if you change to another class transfer person, you will basically get level 50 or later. He just changed jobs, can he fly? Open, the power of funging. Chen Yang took action. A burst of green light spread from him. He found, as expected, he was enveloped by the power of a gust of wind, and he could manipulate this power at will to let himself fly freely in the air. Then, he was in the room, hanging in the air, moving left and right. It was at this time. Elf Princess Sylvie, who was combing her hair halfway through, was stunned to find that her hair, which was almost as long as she had just combed, suddenly floated up. A gust of wind haunted her. Let her long hair float over the top of her head, rippling like water plants. Question mark. Human, what have you done? She was about to cry. After finally combing the hair, it is messed up again. Not only that, she noticed that she also shook her hands. The whole person actually floated up. What a coincidence, you're flying too. Chen Yang noticed the situation of the elf girl. Watching her body float up, the key is that the corners of her tulle skirt slowly float up, Chen Yang couldn't hold back, and glanced over. So white. Unfortunately, Chen Yang just glanced at it, and the elf girl noticed something was wrong. She angrily stretched out her hands, pressed down the corners of her skirt, and firmly covered her thighs. Why can you fly? She was very angry, but she looked curiously at Chen Yang who was floating around. Don't ask, I can do anything. Chen Yang replied lazily, and with a pity he withdrew his gaze. Then he snapped his fingers. Turn off the aura of wind power. He prepared himself, so his legs easily stepped on the floor and landed smoothly. But Sylvie was miserable. Chen Yang closed the halo, caught her off guard, and fell to the floor. Woo. Sylvie was a little desperate. What she never expected was that she had just been summoned for less than half an hour, and she almost cried several times. This master, can you get along well? At this time, Chen Yang walked to the balcony alone, looking out from the 16th floor. Although I can fly, but in the city, high flying is prohibited in streets and public areas. And, is that too high? Chen Yang looked down. Still a little intimidated, Think about it or forget it, and play it later. If you don't control it and you fall down, you will be on the news headlines tomorrow. At least to the next level. If the attributes are improved that way, even if it falls, it will be fine. He flipped through his halo list again. Basically, you have a general understanding of your own aura. Certainly, his halo is too much. It is difficult to fully understand in a short period of time. Arranged by category alone, there are more than 10 types of combat halo, auxiliary halo, weakening halo, life halo, etc. Chen Yang clicked life halo with a little curiosity. Just looking at it, he was stunned. What are these? Refreshed. Energy recovery speed increased by 1000%. Enduring. 1000% sprint endurance. Fatal contact. The opponent's perception is increased by 1000%. He looked at the elf girl, and then at the halos. I always feel that my god-level talent is a bit unserious. When Chen Yang returned to the house from the balcony, Sylvie finally combed her hair again. It's almost time to go. Chen Yang nodded with satisfaction. If nothing else, this Sylvie is top-notch in appearance and figure. As her summons, it will be a good idea to bring it out. Where? Sylvie stood up reluctantly. Nonsense, of course I'm taking you to upgrade. Chen Yang walked towards the door. Follow me. Around Zhongnan City, there are a total of 2 low-level rift dungeon refresh areas. One of them is more than 10 kilometers away from the place where Chen Yang rented. Blue Star in the transition era. Each of these secret realms or dungeons refreshed in the big world has a limited clearance time. If they are not cleared within the limited time, the monsters entrenched in them will emerge into reality. Fortunately, there are many strong human beings now, and ordinary low-level and mid-level monsters in the secret realm, even if they come to reality, basically can't make any waves. For rookies like Chen Yang, the leveling environment is also quite good. Go directly to the low-level secret realm dungeon area, find the dungeon, go in and kill the monsters. Today is transfer day. In those 2 low-level dungeon areas, there should already be a lot of rookie transferees. Chen Yang is not in a hurry. For other job transferers, they basically form a team to play dungeons, and it will take some time to form a team. And he doesn't need it. He has a god-level halo, and with a 10-time attack halo, the Sylvie he summons can crush the low-level dungeon. Naturally, there is no need to form a team with others, and share experience and spoils with others. Soon, he took the elf princess, walked out of the room, and came to the elevator. He pressed the down button of the elevator. Then just wait. Sylvie was unfamiliar with all of this, and looked around curiously. Arrive with the elevator. The elevator doors are open. Chen Yang walked into the elevator naturally. But Sylvie didn't dare to follow. She glanced at the elevator vigilantly. What is this? Elevator, you can take us downstairs. Chen Yang explained to her. She did not laugh at her. After all, this is an elf princess from another world, and it is normal that she has never seen an elevator. Elevator, will there be lightning in there? She froze and asked. She sees how small the elevator is. Makes her a little uncomfortable and doesn't want to go in. You will send lightning. Come in. Chen Yang was a little helpless. He kept helping her to block the elevator door with his hand. Seeing that she hadn't come in, the elevator made a diddy sound, and gave her an order to let her enter the elevator. Then, the girl walked into the elevator with a reluctant look on her face. When the elevator doors closed, when it started to descend, it shuddered a little. Making the girl nervous, she subconsciously grabbed Chen Yang's arm. So soft. Chen Yang was grabbed by the arm, and suddenly felt a refreshing feeling. It seems that this girlfriend has a really good physique. I am also fortunate that I have this physique. Otherwise, some rough-looking strong man will be summoned. It's a bit scary to think about. And this elf princess Sylvie, although her personality is a bit fierce, she is really impeccable in other aspects. Character can be adjusted. The key appearance and figure are too top. Chen Yang was quite satisfied with his first summoned creature. This made him look forward to the future. As a summoner, a new minion can be summoned every 10 levels. Moreover, even if the summoned creatures die, they only temporarily return to their original world, and they can be summoned again after the cooling time expires. The first draw of an S-rank elf princess, this luck is normal. I don't know what I can summon when I reach level 10. Chen Yong thought lightly. If he let others know about this idea, he would definitely be scolded as Versailles. The elf princess with S-level talent, this luck is more than ordinary. To know, even for some giant dragon summoners, the young dragon summoned for the first time may not necessarily have an S-rank talent level. Moreover, the growth rate of the elf princess is much faster than that of the young dragon. Not to mention, this fairy princess is a beauty. It is very capable to cultivate. If you change it to a dragon, what can I do? Cannot. Soon, the elevator went all the way down to the first floor. When the elevator door opened, Chen Yong took Sylvie out of the elevator. The girl was very nervous at first, but when she came out and saw that the outside environment was completely different from before, she was surprised at once. Look around, look inside the elevator again, and then looked up again. She feels, this thing is called an elevator, it's amazing. Of course, this girl is still very smart. I soon realized that this should be something like the lifter in their world, but it looks different. When Chen Yong took her and left the unit building, she blushed a little and let go of his arm. At this time, a middle-aged couple came towards them and looked at them in surprise. Male, young people nowadays really know how to play, this cosplay is really like it. Female pinches his arm, what kind of eyes do you have? Today is class transfer day, and it looks like a newcomer has turned into a summoner. The two were quiet, but Sylvie heard it anyway. She looked impassive. After the middle-aged couple passed by, they quickly tugged Chen Yang's sleeves. What did they say about cosplay? What is it? It's role-playing, Chen Yang explained to her. For example, a human girl, through costume props, wears pointed false ears, it will look like an elf. What? Sylvie didn't quite understand. Then why do they pretend to be elves? Because there are many people in this world who like to watch elves. Chen Yang said. At the same time, I silently said something in my heart, it's all LSP. Of course, he would never admit whether it included himself or not. So our elves are so popular in your world. The elf princess was a little surprised. Chen Yang didn't know how to explain it to her. But he felt that it was necessary for him to remind her in this regard, lest she be deceived by someone in the future. Popularity is one thing, but if someone talks to you, you mustn't trust it easily, especially a man. Chen Yang educated. At this moment, he has a feeling of being nurtured by Lolita. It feels weird. Why is that? Sylvie didn't quite understand. Because no matter what they say, they are just greedy for your body. Chen Yang said. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. The elf princess suddenly realized. She snorted arrogantly. It seems that no matter in our world or in your world, human males are not a good thing. Except me, Chen Yang added. Question mark. Sylvie looked at him suspiciously. Does this sound completely unbelievable? Community door. Chen Yang walked out with Sylvie all the way, attracting everyone's attention. Everyone was amazed along the way. This elf girl is too beautiful, right? People are talking about it. You can basically guess that this handsome young man should be a summoner, and the one summoned turned out to be an elf girl. Simply envious of others. And Chen Yang ignored other people's gazes. He took Sylvie out of the community and came to the side of the road. The girl looked curiously at the cars passing by on the road. What is this iron lump? It has 4 wheels, and it still turns. It's still so fast. I see. She had an idea. Are these mounts similar to our world? If I have to use a metaphor, it should be said that the carriage is closer. Chen Yang corrected it. Oh, she is still curious about new things, and she is eager to try. Can I sit here? Do you want to sit? Chen Yang was a little surprised. Aha, Sylvie nodded again and again. All right. Chen Yang reluctantly agreed. In fact, he originally wanted to run with his sister, and by the way, try his 10 times speed halo. But since she wanted to ride so much, just let her try it. Then, Chen Yang took out his mobile phone and called a taxi. However, when Sylvie sat in excitedly, she regretted it almost immediately. Because she found that it was so cramped in here, and there's an unpleasant smell to her. Fortunately, although she is a princess and has a somewhat arrogant personality, she is not unreasonable. Since she was clamoring to sit down, she was embarrassed to get out of the car directly, so she could only secretly make up her mind that she would never take this kind of car again. After 10 minutes, at the entrance of the secret area in the south of the city, levels 1 to 10. A taxi stopped. The rear door opens. A handsome boy walked out of the car with the help of a pale elf girl. Chen Yang never expected it. This elf princess is actually car sick. Fortunately, this distance is not far, it only takes about 10 minutes. Otherwise, this elf princess is afraid that she will suffer. Even so, she is also pale now, and her body is very uncomfortable. Chen Yang supported her and walked to the side of the road. At this time, he finally found a power of comfort from the many god level auras he didn't know. Soothing power, god level aura, eliminate physical discomfort caused by various reasons for you and your summons, cannot clear the negative status from skills and attacks. In fact, Chen Yang found a body aura in the combat halo. After turning on this aura, neither he nor his summons will be affected by any negative state. Don't get dizzy, will not be knocked off. It will also not be slowed down, broken armor, charmed, etc. But he tried it in the car. This halo, it has absolutely no effect on Sylvie's motion sickness. This aura of life, the power of soothing, should be fine, right? Chen Yang chose to activate the soothing power aura. A burst of pale white light enveloped him and Sylvie, making both of them feel like a spring breeze. Sylvie was surprised. She was in a very uncomfortable state, but it was relieved all at once. Less than 3 seconds, she became alive again. Just, what did you do? Sylvie looked at Chen Yang with a little doubt. You were summoned by me. I can't watch you feel uncomfortable and do nothing, right? Chen Yang smiled. This made Sylvie a little moved. It seems that the master of yourself doesn't completely care about her life or death. And what she didn't expect was that. She didn't even know why she felt uncomfortable, but Chen Yang helped her heal her with a wave of his hand. It's amazing. Certainly, she looks like a noble elf princess. The slightest emotion in this heart will naturally not be shown in front of mere humans. Let's go in and find a copy. Chen Yang didn't care either. Take her, turn around and walk towards the entrance of the secret area. Zhongnan City, South City Secret Area, level 1 to 10. A sign appeared in front of Chen Yang and Sylvie. Behind the sign, there is a high metal wall more than 20 meters high that spans dozens of kilometers. This high wall isolates an area that will refresh the secret realm and dungeon from the inner city to ensure the safety of the people in the city. In front of a grand metal gate, hundreds of newcomers and transferees are looking for teams from each other, and some have already formed teams and come in directly when they arrive. This place, it can be said to be very lively. When Chen Yang came with Sylvie, it caught a lot of people's attention at once. Among them, many are students of No. 1 high school, and like Chen Yang, they have just changed jobs. Look, it's Chen Yang. I heard that he was transferred to a summoner. What kind of girl's friend is he? The elf following him is too beautiful, isn't it? I'm so sore. I didn't expect his first summoned creature to be an elf girl. It looks pretty, but I don't know how strong it is. Could it be a vase? If I have such a summoned object, I would like it even if it is a vase. People were talking. After a while, a tall and thin young man, holding a shield, came to Chen Yang. Chen Yang, the elf you summoned as a priest, right? My team is just short of milk, do you want to form a team together? His name is Yang Shuchuan. It is the classmate who sits in the back row of Chen Yang, and has a good relationship with Chen Yang. By observing, Yang Shuchuan saw that the elf girl summoned by Chen Yang was a priest by profession. First of all, she is wearing a skirt, which must be a legal system, and the legal profession of the elves is either a mage or a priest. As for mages and priests, the appearance of the initial equipment is different, so it is easier to distinguish. No, she's a little shy. Chen Yang shook his head and refused to say, I won't form a team for now. I'll take her in for 2 laps and get familiar with the environment first. Fine, Yang Shuchuan is a little pity. For rookie transferees, if they want to form a team, the most important thing is the priest. Stop talking about him. Even the school beauty of number 1 high school, Su Qimeng, has been transferred to a high-level profession, frost magician. It is said that she still has an S-level talent, and she has not yet waited for a suitable priest. At this time, a girl with a height of 1.6 meters came to Chen Yang's side. Hey, your name is Chen Yang, right? The girl was a little fat and glanced at the elf princess behind Chen Yang. Our team lacks a nurse, can you come? I am a fighter class with A-level talent, and Su Qimeng is our captain. If you can join our team, it will be cheap for you. Now. Su Qimeng. Chen Yang was a little surprised. Isn't this the Bingshan School flower of No. 1 middle school? He looked around, and sure enough, not far away, there was a cold girl in a black dress holding a staff. Her long hair fell to her waist, and her graceful figure was tightly wrapped in a long skirt, attracting many eyes from the surrounding. See Chen Yang over here. Su Qimeng showed a friendly smile and nodded at him. This smile, all the boys next to him were shocked. The iceberg goddess, she actually smiled at Chen Yang. Invite him to join the team. Incredible, countless people envy Chen Yang. Not only can you summon beautiful elf girls, but you can also team up with the iceberg goddess. Isn't it cool? Pity. Chen Yang shook his head at Su Qimeng from a distance. Then he said to the girl in front of him, sorry, I don't want to form a team for the time being. This made the girl stunned. Walter. Facing Su Qimeng's invitation, Chen Yang actually refused. This scene left countless people in the field dumbfounded. Especially Yang Shuchuan. He looked at Chen Yang in front of him in disbelief. This guy even refused Su Qimeng's invitation. It seems that Chen Yang really doesn't want to form a team. Yang Shuchuan was a little ashamed. He thought that Chen Yang didn't like him, so he refused to form a team with him, but if there is nothing else, I'll go first. Chen Yang finished with a smile. Take Sylvie and walk towards the gate of the secret area. The elf girl followed closely. Chen Yang said she was shy, and it was not without reason. In a crowded place, this girl seems to be a little nervous, and she sticks to him even more tightly than before. And watch Chen Yang leave. Everyone around felt like a ghost. This Chen Yang, kind of weird. Even Su Qimeng herself did not expect that Chen Yang would reject her invitation. Looking at the back of Chen Yang walking towards the gate of the secret area, Su Qimeng became a little curious about Chen Yang. Originally, she was just short of milk in the team. Plus Chen Yang is really handsome. Let her usually have a good impression of Chen Yang, so she wants to invite him to join her team. Unexpectedly, it was rejected. It really pissed me off. The slightly fat warrior girl returned to Su Qimeng's side, feeling a little depressed. She really did not expect that Chen Yang would even refuse Su Qimeng's invitation. You must know that Su Qimeng is not only a school beauty, but also a high-level profession with S-level talent, a frost magician. Boys who want to team up with her will definitely be able to line up for several kilometers. Result: Chen Yang actually refused. I want to see, what teammates can this kid find in the end? This fat warrior girl is very upset. Pity, she didn't know. Chen Yang, I didn't plan to team up with anyone at all. Chen Yang took Sylvie and passed through the metal gate of the secret area together. It's finally about to start. He breathed a sigh of relief. After entering the secret area, there are many fewer people around. Because after professionals come in, they basically immediately go around to look for dungeons or secret realms, and rarely stay at the entrance. At this moment, the elf princess who followed behind him finally became bold, seeing that there was no one around. She fiercely questioned Chen Yang, "Human, why don't you find someone to form a team? Although I came to this world for the first time, I also learned something when I was summoned. The secret realms and dungeons of your world are filled with many monsters, all of which can only be dealt with by forming a team." Listening to her questioning, Chen Yang felt very interesting. This girl, only when you are alone with him, do you dare to be so fierce? And when there are a lot of people, I am so nervous that I don't even dare to say a word. This contrast is interesting. Chen Yang was not angry at her questioning, and said lightly, "Then did you also know that if you form a team, the rewards for killing monsters will be divided equally? Even so, then you have to be able to beat monsters." The elf girl curled her lips. "If we don't form a team, you won't expect me to be a priest to clean up the monsters, right? What happened to the priest? Don't you have a holy light skill that can damage monsters?" Chen Yang asked back. ? Sylvie glanced at him, a little powerless to complain. Is this human being serious? And Chen Yang didn't give her a chance to talk more. Immediately gave an order. Follow me. At the same time, he glanced at the wide-angle cameras on the high metal wall behind him. To avoid trouble, he took Sylvie and walked into the depths of the secret area. After avoiding all cameras, he selected a halo from his god-level halo and activated it. God Hidden Halo, God Level Halo, you and your summons enter a state of invisibility, and gain plus 100 invisibility level. That's right, this is an invisibility aura, and directly gains plus 100 invisibility rating. In this era, thieves, assassins and other professions can learn some stealth skills. Invisibility is also graded. Stealth level, and anti-stealth level, restrain each other. For example, for the stealth skills that a class transferee can learn at level 10, the stealth level is basically level 1. When a class transferee is level 50, the anti-hidden skills that can be obtained are basically level 5 anti-hidden skills. In other words, the stealth, anti-stealth level of professional skills is generally divided by 10. After Chen Yang activates the aura of Shenyan, it is equivalent to a level 1000 thief releasing stealth skills. In the same way, a level 1000 anti-invisibility profession is needed to be able to see through his invisibility. To know, now no one in the world has reached level 1000. That is to say, as soon as this halo opened, almost no one in the world could see Chen Yang and his summons. When the aura of Shenyan opened, he and Sylvie disappeared into the woods at the same time. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. What's the situation? Sylvie watched her slender arms become transparent and was a little confused. Where does she not know? Does this mean she has gone into stealth? The key is, she can see that her current stealth level is level 100. This stealth level completely shocked her. Could it be, is this Chen Yang's ability? This is much stronger than those elders in her elf clan. She looked at Chen Yang in surprise. In her eyes, Chen Yang's body has also become translucent, but in the eyes of outsiders, she and Chen Yang have both disappeared in this forest. This human, it seems that there are indeed more than 100 million points in the meeting. Sylvie thought about it from beginning to end. First, when I was doing push-ups, I gained weight inexplicably. Then the whole body vibrated violently for 10 minutes. Then when I combed my hair and body floated up inexplicably. If those abilities didn't seem so important before, now this level 100 stealth ability has a completely different meaning. No wonder he doesn't team up with others. This ability seems to be a halo. That is to say, even if you launch an attack, you will not be out of stealth. Isn't this invincible? This elf princess never thought that the human beings who summoned her would have such a perverted ability. Have this ability. What team are you teaming up with? Stealth directly, kill all the way to the end, the monsters don't know how to die. Her impression of Chen Yang has changed a bit. This human, maybe he really deserves to be his own master. Let's go. Chen Yang checked the status. Finding that it was indeed a level 100 stealth, he nodded with satisfaction. He is currently in the lowest level of the secret realm. The lowest level dungeon is the Dark Iron level dungeon, which is also the most numerous dungeons in the secret realm. But for Chen Yang, playing this level of copy is a bit of a waste of time. He has been in this world for 18 years, and he has learned a lot in school. The most basic thing is all kinds of numerical values. He calculated, under the circumstance that he has a god-level combat aura, he can easily clear a bronze level or even a silver level dungeon with a Sylvie. As for the gold level copy, it's not impossible to beat. But in this secret area in the south of the city, there are almost no gold level dungeons. In this situation, naturally, he directly attacked the bronze or silver dungeon. The black iron dungeons encountered on the road. Ignore them all. At the same time, in this secret area, there is an entrance to the bronze level instance. It is a suspended black vortex, spinning in midair, and through this entrance vortex, you can go to a copy of an independent space. Next to the entrance to this copy, there is a team of 4 professionals, arguing fiercely about something. I think, we are only level 2, let's be safe and continue to play the black iron level dungeon. I agree, with our current strength, it's a little bit difficult to play bronze level dungeons. I said, what the hell are you doing? Isn't it just a bronze level copy? That's right, I don't even dare to play a bronze level dungeon. I knew I wouldn't team up with you two. For whether to enter this bronze level copy. This professional team has a disagreement. It was at this time. The entrance to the copy of the black vortex suspended behind them suddenly changed, the black light flowed, and then a black void chain appeared, locking the black vortex. This situation. Obviously someone entered the copy, and the copy was locked to prevent more people from entering. But, was there anyone else beside me just now? These four were stunned. They took a quick look at the status of the dungeon entrance. Dungeon level. Level 1. Dungeon quality. Bronze grade. Number of copies. 1/4. Dungeon status. Locked, cannot enter more job transferers. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. The four looked at each other. What's the matter? Why did someone suddenly enter this copy? Did you see anyone going in? Don't talk about people, there's not even a fly around here. It's weird, is it a stealth profession? Isn't it the strangest thing that this guy went in alone? Not only that, but also directly locked the copy, too confident. ... They were all a little puzzled. I was still debating whether to go in or not. Result, are you still getting hairy? Even the copy was robbed. What should we do? Let's find another copy. Someone in the team suggested. I'm not going, I'm going to wait here, but I want to see who actually entered this dungeon. Someone is very curious. Okay, let's take a rest first and see if this person can beat the dungeon. If he can't beat half of it, he will come out in the middle. Let's go in and pick up a bargain, hee. They wouldn't think that a high-level transfer person entered this dungeon. Because, those who are above the level of dungeon level 3 or above can't enter the dungeon, this is the iron rule. That is to say, the transferers who enter this dungeon are at most level 4, and it is impossible for them to reach level 5. Then, curiosity led the four to make the same decision. Stay and wait. ... And this time, the person who entered this bronze level dungeon was naturally Chen Yang. The reason why he wants to turn on the stealth state. Just to avoid trouble. For example, just this case. If he is not invisible and wants to bring Sylvie into the dungeon, he will inevitably have to deal with the four newcomers and even conflict. For Chen Yang, these four people combined are not enough for him to play, but he is still afraid of trouble. The less trouble, the better. Wasted time to brush this book, how good. After entering the copy, Chen Yang, as the first job transfer person to enter the dungeon, has the right to lock the dungeon and prevent more people from entering. Then he observed the environment of this copy. This is a goblin lair. Chen Yang and Sylvie, still remaining invisible, appeared at the entrance of a dimly lit cave. Inside the cave, there is a torch that is not very bright at intervals, which can barely illuminate. Not far ahead, there are two goblin mobs guarding the entrance to the lair. When the elf girl saw it, relying on her stealth status, she was eager to start. And many more. Chen Yang had a headache. You said you were a priest, why are you so violent? Don't worry, wait for me to explore this goblin lair. Know thyself, ever victorious. Although he has various god-level auras, he is not careless. There are a lot of transferees, just because of arrogance, they died in some dungeons that didn't seem to be difficult. Not so with Chen Yang. Oh, Sylvie's pointed ears trembled, and she put down her hand with a little blush. Also a little curious, how is Chen Yang going to probe this lair? Chapter 11. Soon, Chen Yang took Sylvie and hid in a safe corner first. Then, toggle aura. God's vision, God level halo. After turning it on, you will get the God's perspective of the surrounding environment. The introduction of this halo is very simple, it is an auxiliary halo. After Chen Yang opened, he found that he could switch between two perspectives, one is his own perspective, and the other can control the direction and movement at will, God's perspective. Then, from the perspective of God, he began to advance into the goblin lair. Soon, he will find out the situation of the entire goblin lair. Two small bosses and one big boss. Chen Yang pondered for a while, and quickly determined the play. This copy is a bronze level copy. Compared with the Black Iron Dungeon, the mobs and bosses in it have almost doubled their attributes in all aspects. Therefore, it is extremely difficult for other newcomers to transfer jobs. But here in Chen Yang, if you know yourself and your enemy, you can easily crush it. Almost. You give yourself a storm blessing first. Chen Yang retracted the perspective of God, and then ordered Sylvie. It is good. Sylvie is very obedient now. Because in the copy, she will not mess around, everything is based on Chen Yang's arrangement. Anyway, even if she died here, she would just return to her own world. And if Chen Yang is dead, he is really dead. In this situation, Chen Yang can't joke about his life, can he? So, she took out the novice priest staff given by the system and released a blessing of attack to herself. Damage output increased by 30%. There are 2 little monsters at the door, just clear them. Chen Yang ordered to go down. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Sylvie looked puzzled. Aren't you going to be invisible? Don't hide. Chen Yang was a little speechless. Shouldn't this girl think that he will let her be invisible and slowly grind it all the way? If so, it takes 4 or 5 times of holy light to kill a small monster, and it takes 3 or 4 hours to clear this bronze level dungeon. Quote. Sylvie was a little dissatisfied. Obviously you can be invisible, why not? But Chen Yang's order has been issued, and she has no choice but to obey. Then, she walked out of the cover, aimed at one of the goblin guards, and released holy light. A golden divine light instantly fell from the sky. -724. Spike. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Seeing the damage numbers floating above the goblin guard's head, Sylvie was stunned on the spot. Have a problem. When was your attack so fierce? According to her estimation, the damage of her holy light should be between 60 to 70. But she didn't have time to think about it. Seeing this, another goblin guard rushed towards her fiercely, making her dare not stop. He quickly raised his hand again. Holy light. -719. Another spike. 2 goblin guards fell to the ground one after the other, becoming corpses. Until this time, Sylvie checked her state. This was discovered. In addition to blessing of attack, there is also a halo called invincible. Obviously, the fact that she can deal such high damage is definitely because of the existence of this halo, but what kind of halo is this halo, and the effect is too strong, right? Let her damage directly doubled tenfold. To know. This bronze level dungeon's mobs have a total of 300 or 400 HP. A holy light goes down, the other party still owes her a life. This moment, Sylvie was completely dumbfounded. That is to say, stealth and this 10-fold attack can only choose one of them. She is very smart. I immediately understood Chen Yang's abilities. Although it is a bit limited, but even so, it is already extremely terrifying. What she didn't know was that Chen Yang only needed to upgrade to level 5 to activate 2 auras at the same time. At that time, it would really take off. Immediately after, Chen Yang cancelled the invincible aura and reactivated another aura. The blasphemy of the dead god level aura. After opening, the monster corpses within the range have 10 chances to produce extra loot, and there is a 25% chance that the loot rank will be +1. God level touch corpse halo. To know. In dungeons, mobs have a low chance of dropping loot. But after Chen Yang turns on this halo, he can automatically touch the corpses around the corpse and get 10 chances to produce extra loot. Equivalent to 10 times the drop rate. In addition, there is a 25% chance to increase the rank of the loot by 1. For example, in this goblin lair, as long as Chen Yang finds a piece of bronze level equipment, there is a chance that it will become silver level. So, after the battle, this halo will open. Then, a gray halo spread out towards the surroundings. When passing by the 2 goblin mobs' corpses, he found a skill book and a piece of equipment on the spot. This scene let the eyes of the elf girl shine. She didn't know that Chen Yang had a god-level corpse-touching halo, and thought that her character had exploded. 2 little monsters, it's too lucky to drop 2 trophies, right? Human, thank this princess soon. She puffed out her chest and said triumphantly. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hearing Sylvie's words asking for credit, Chen Yang couldn't help laughing and crying. But he didn't bother with her. Instead, he smiled and said, amazing. Go pick it up and see what's missing. The elf girl ran over. Soon he came back with a piece of equipment and a skill book in his hand. Strange, how can a bronze level dungeon drop silver level equipment? Doubt appeared on her delicate and beautiful little face, and her pointed ears trembled. Because you were lucky, come on. Chen Yang encouraged. Quote. Hearing Chen Yang say this, Sylvie always felt a little weird. But she didn't think much of it. After running back, handed the 2 trophies to Chen Yang. Sheepskin magic gloves, silver grade cloth armor, limited to legal professions. Physical defense plus 1-2, magic defense plus 2-2. Spell attack plus 1-9, spirit plus 1-3, requirement level 1. Chain lightning, bronze level, mage skill book. Requirement level 1. Sure enough, silver level equipment came out. This god level corpse touching halo is really good. Certainly, Chen Yang didn't care too much, it was all useless primary equipment anyway and would be replaced soon. The chain lightning skill book is temporarily unavailable. After throwing the sheepskin magic gloves to Sylvie, Chen Yang took her to move on. Less than 10 minutes, they did the same, and after killing 4 or 5 waves, a total of more than 20 mobs, finally came to the first small boss, outside the room of the goblin warrior. By this time, Sylvie has deeply doubted herself. Because she found out, along the way, every wave of mobs will drop equipment and skill books. If she was lucky, it's too much luck, isn't it? How much yangsho does this consume? Not scientific at all. Looking at Chen Yang with a half smile. Why doesn't she know that the explosion rate of these goblins is so high, all because of Chen Yang? Humph, I'm so pissed off this princess. Human, are you watching my joke? She said angrily on her hips. No. Chen Yang shook his head and said, you are a noble elf princess, how dare I watch your jokes? You're still mocking me. Sylvie pouted. If it wasn't in the copy, she would definitely have a fight with Chen Yang. This person is too bullying the elves. Okay. Chen Yang smiled and patted her shoulder, comforted her, and then said, I've learned this skill book, and I'm ready to fight boss. Light of Exorcism, silver level, priest skill book. Releases an exorcism beam at the enemy, dealing moderate damage. This is the skill book from the last wave of mobs. After learning this skill and changing half of the priest's equipment on her body, Sylvie's damage output was more than 3 times higher than when she first entered this dungeon. Even without the aura of Chen Yang, her damage has also far exceeded other job transferers. It is worth mentioning that even if other people have money at home and can buy a set of top-quality equipment, they will not be able to wear it at the beginning. Because in the era of job transfer, if it is an equipment skill book purchased from other people, unless it is a white outfit or an initial skill, or if you want to use it, there is a high demand for exorcism value. And the exorcism value, you need to kill the monster in the dungeon to get it. In other words, even if you buy a set of top-quality equipment, you have to kill enough monsters before you can wear it. From this point of view, all new recruits start the same way. Certainly, the equipment and skill books that I exploded are not listed here. So, the current Sylvie, regardless of equipment or skills, is already at the forefront of this group of newcomers. Not to mention, she also has a god level or a bonus from Chen Yang. At this time, when Sylvie learned Light of Exorcism, her pointed elf ears trembled slightly, and she quietly passed through the stone door, revealing an elf head. Looking at the goblin warrior, who was snoring and sleeping in front of him, he sneakily lowered his voice and said, even if you have this skill, with 10 times the attack halo, you have to use 4 or 5 times of exorcism to beat this boss. Light. The boss's attack is still very strong. Can we stop it? Feel her worry. Chen Yang didn't care and patted her on the shoulder. It's okay, even if it's up, I have a way. As she said, the bosses in the copy have many skills and high damage. The 2 of them don't have tank careers, so it's really hard to resist. But Chen Yang can activate another halo for boss. Frost Erosion God level halo reduce the speed of all enemies within 10,000 meters by 90%, full effect on boss. Different from the halo of other job transferers. The biggest feature of Chen Yang's god level aura is that it takes full effect on any boss. Just after Sylvie finished learning the skills, Chen Yang generously walked into the boss room first, and raised his hand to activate the god level aura, Frost Erosion. Immediately, a burst of ice blue light, centered on Chen Yang, spreads around. The snoring goblin warrior was enveloped in an instant. The little boss woke up immediately, holding a mace in his hand, and grinning, he wanted to rush towards Chen Yang. Result: It found. His whole body seemed to be frozen, and any movement became extremely slow. The effect of the frost erosion halo is to reduce all the speed of the enemy, including movement speed, casting speed, attack speed, and skill shooting speed, etc. This moment, the goblin warrior is just like slow motion, slowly lifting the mace, running slowly, attacking slowly. That's it, unless Chen Yang stood still. Otherwise, it is impossible to be hit by the opponent. And the goblin warrior also released a crash skill, but unfortunately it even slowed down the speed of the crash by 10 times. When he rushed over slowly, Chen Yang had already avoided this scene. Sylvie, who followed up later, was stunned. Something's wrong, right? Doesn't it mean that most of the bosses in this world's secret realm and dungeon don't eat control? As a result, it was decelerated so seriously. She didn't have time to think too much. Immediately excitedly raised his little hand, raised the bronze-level priest scepter in his hand, and released an exorcism light. -165. Without Chen Yang's invincible aura, her damage level suddenly dropped. But, anyway, the boss is still in the state of being slowed down. She can do whatever she wants. ... After a minute, the boss had half blood left, but Sylvie shouted a little embarrassedly, I'm almost out of power. Understood. Chen Yang waved his hand. Immediately switched to the god-level halo, the source of magic. Under this aura, he and his summoned creatures restore 100% of their maximum mana per second. That is to say, this halo only needs to open for a second, and you can make your method full. And when he opened the halo, the goblin warrior's deceleration suddenly disappeared, and a staggered fell to the ground. The slowdown is finally lifted. The boss looked excited, and quickly wanted to get up and launch a counterattack. Pity, only 1 second has passed. Chen Yang switched back to the frost erosion aura and continued to slow it down. ? Goblin warrior wants to cry without tears. After all, he is also a boss, right? Was actually being teased by a summoner so that he was powerless to fight back. Boss, cross out. Chen Yang's toys. Tick. So ever. Less than 2 minutes. This bronze-level goblin warrior finally fell in front of Chen Yang, his eyes wide open, he couldn't rest his eyes. Dead blasphemy. Chen Yang turned on the corpse touch halo. Immediately, a total of more than 20 pieces of equipment, skill books, and massive magic crystals exploded from this goblin warrior. To know, this kind of small boss will basically drop 2 to 3 pieces of loot. Therefore, under the effect of the god-level corpse-touching halo, Chen Yang hit 1 boss, which is equivalent to hitting 10 bosses, which is equivalent to 10 times the drop. As for the magic crystal, it is the currency of the current career change era, the general equivalent for the world. The reason why it can replace the officially issued currency. It is because this magic crystal is a hard currency and contains energy in itself. Whether it is a car, a mobile phone, an elevator, or even some heavy industrial equipment, now all use magic crystals as an energy source, and electricity is no longer used. By killing monsters in the secret realm dungeon, you can produce magic crystals. This boss has exploded more than 5,000 magic crystals. It's too easy to make money, right? Chen Yang was a little speechless. To know, the official subsidy given to him before was less than 1,800 magic crystals per month, which was enough for him to rent and live. Just type this copy down. The magic crystal he harvested was equivalent to the subsidy he could get the previous year. Not to mention, those bronze and silver equipments can be sold for a large amount of money. At this time, Chen Yang glanced at his level and experience bar. This is almost level 3. Single-play bronze-level dungeons will give you a lot of experience. Chen Yang picked out the best equipment from this wave of bosses and put it on Sylvie. This makes her clearing speed faster. Soon, it was less than 20 minutes before Chen Yang entered the dungeon. They have already arrived at the door of the final boss room. Sylvie has a full set of silver equipment and has learned several silver-level skills. The most important is, Chen Yang and her level have finally been raised to level 5. Congratulations on your promotion to level 5. You have unlocked the second Halo slot. Unlock the next Halo slot, level 10. This time, Chen Yang took off directly. God hidden Halo. Invincible. These two combat auras are activated at the same time. It just so happened that they faced the final boss of the entire dungeon, a goblin chief. Light of Exorcism, minus 3234. Light of Exorcism, minus 3198. Sylvie's graceful body remained translucent, and her cute little mouth opened into an O shape when she saw the damage she had inflicted. What's the situation? He is clearly in the invisible state, how can he still eat 10 times the attack aura? Chen Yang's ability. Isn't it possible that only one halo can be turned on at the same time? And this time, the big boss who was attacked inexplicably, the goblin chief, was completely confused. It looks around. I can't see where the person who attacked me is at all, and it has only been attacked twice, and its blood volume has already dropped by half. The most terrifying thing is that the light of exorcism is still thrown at it like no money. Just 5 seconds. The goblin chief didn't even see where the attackers were. The blood bar has been emptied. Initially, Chen Yang didn't let Sylvie spawn monsters in stealth because he thought the efficiency was too slow. But now, he can activate 2 god-level auras at the same time. A divine hidden halo, plus an output halo. In this way, it seems that Sylvie's combat power is extremely abnormal. 5 consecutive exorcism lights. The big boss who directly sent the bronze-level copy to the west sky. And that boss didn't even see the shadow of the person. It's more efficient now. You don't have to think about so many halves and doesn't. Chen Yang nodded with satisfaction. If before that, if he and Sylvie fought the boss in stealth, it would be easy for the boss to react, and then throw skills randomly in the audience. Once rubbed a little, it is deadly. So before this, Chen Yang had played 2 small bosses with the Frost Erosion Halo, which was more secure. But now, in the case of double halo, don't worry. The output is high enough, the boss has not been able to react, and it has already been killed. Next, Chen Yang's copy can be completely crushed without a brain. Blessed from heaven, the blasphemy of the dead. Chen Yang raised his hand. He and Sylvie's whole body was covered with a golden glow, accompanied by a gray light swept over the corpse of the big boss. Immediately, a total of more than 18,000 magic crystals, plus a pile of 40 or 50 trophies, exploded from the corpse of the goblin chief. Heavenly Blessing, God-level halo. After opening, you and your summons will get plus 100 luck points. Luck is such a thing. If it is only a small amount, it is very mysterious. Usually ignored by people, but this 100-point lucky value is different. Wherever probability is involved, luck value will almost always take effect. E.g., when Chen Yang activated the 2 god-level auras of Blessing from the Heavens and Desecration of the Dead, at the same time, the 40 or 50 pieces of equipment and skill books he found from the boss's corpse were all silver level, even a bronze level one. None. This is super lucky, lucky super double. Unfortunately, the bronze level copy only produces bronze level items. Even if the rank is increased by 1, it can only reach the silver rank. Even if it's a boss, it's just a higher drop rate and more drops. Chen Yang shook his head. Fortunately, now his combat power is not very equipment. As long as his level rises, every time he unlocks an additional halo slot, it will bring him a qualitative change. At this time, the secret area in the south of the city. Right at the entrance of the Goblin Lair dungeon. The 4 newcomers were still waiting while playing with their mobile phones. This guy has been in for almost half an hour and hasn't come out yet. It's really not easy to hold on for so long. I'm afraid I've been grinding mobs. Then there must be no boss. How can you beat the boss alone? They chatted casually, but they suddenly saw that the entrance of the Black Vortex copy that was originally next to them became more and more bleak. After just a few seconds, the entrance of the copy disappeared. Question mark. These 4 guys were dumbfounded again. Quickly look forward, backward, left and right. But still no one was seen. No, it took less than half an hour for this copy to be cleared. A person with all access to bronze level copy, is this still a person? The point is, we didn't even see a shadow of a person at all. Have we encountered a ghost? The 4 newcomers were all stunned. At this time, a team of 4, including Su Qimeng, came from not far away. After being rejected by Chen Yang, their team recruited a female priest with A-level talent, and finally they gathered the manpower and planned to come in and brush the dungeon. Since Su Qimeng started with an S-level talent and was still a high-level professional frost magician, she decided to lead the team and play the bronze-level dungeon directly. I just heard that there is a bronze-level dungeon entrance here, so I brought someone over. Did not expect. When they came over, they found that the copy had disappeared. You destroyed a bronze-level dungeon so quickly. The chubby warrior girl in their team looked at the four newcomers in a daze. Not us. The four of them first glanced at Su Qimeng in amazement, then shook their heads with a wry smile. Then, they talked about what happened. What? An invisible lone wolf who cleared the bronze-level dungeon in less than half an hour. How can that be? Su Qimeng and others were shocked on the spot. This year, is there such a strong person? In fact, through official channels, it is true that the occupations of all transferees are invisible. But, talent is different. For a career transfer person, talent is a secret that is unique to him. As long as you don't say it yourself, no one else can know it anyway. Isn't it possible that there is a thief class transfer with SSS level talent this year? Su Qimeng felt a bit outrageous. SSS class. That is a super terrifying existence that is rare in all human beings. She at this time, I didn't associate this powerhouse with Chen Yang at all. After all, Chen Yang is a summoner, not a thief, nor an assassin. How could he be invisible? It's a pity that this iceberg schoolflower doesn't know that. At this moment, Chen Yang and Sylvie, who just came out of the copy, happened to pass by her and smelled a girly fragrance drifting from her body. So refreshing. Fortunately, the aura of Shenyan is turned on. Otherwise, if one day passes today, countless people and countless forces will pay attention to me. This world is not as peaceful as it seems. The major cities and major forces compete with each other, and fight openly and secretly. In recent years, many talents have fallen on the road of development. Chen Yang doesn't want to follow in the footsteps of those guys. To be low-key, or to be low-key. At this time, Su Qimeng raised her hand, took out her mobile phone, and glanced down. 5 kilometers away from here, there is a bronze-level copy in the north, let's go there. Oh, the news came at just the right time. Chen Yang waved his hand. Sylvie, let's go. God-hidden aura plus power of the royal wind double auras are activated. Stealth plus 10 times the speed to start. This schoolgirl Su Qimeng, she never dreamed that there would be a sixth child by her side, to grab her copy and fight. When Chen Yang's 2 halos turned on at the same time, the speed of him and Sylvie suddenly reached the limit. Originally, after they reached level 5, their agility attributes reached more than 50 points, and it took about 2 minutes to run 1,000 meters. But now, 10 times faster. It only takes 12 seconds to run a kilometer. 5 kilometers away. In just 1 minute, it has arrived. When Chen Yang brought Sylvie into the bronze-level dungeon, Su Qimeng's team has just set off from the same place and walked less than 1/10 of the distance. And after entering the copy, Chen Yang found that this was a level 3 bronze dungeon, the terrain was a dark forest, and there were many wolf demons, and the final boss was a werewolf. Certainly, for him, no matter what the opponent is, he will always clear the field. Toggle aura, Shenyan aura plus invincible. All the monsters encountered were instantly killed by Sylvie raising her hand. Even small bosses are the same. Because her level has been improved, her attributes have been improved, and her equipment has been replaced with a new batch of new ones. Combined with the tenfold attack halo of unbreakable damage explosion. Wow, Sylvie felt like she was about to fly, her little face was flushed and full of excitement. As a pastor, she never thought about it. It's even more fun than a mage to brush up on your own. In particular, the Goblin Chief, the big boss of the last instance, gave her the group attack skill, Holy Light Meteor. When encountering mobs, raising a Holy Light Meteor, you can instantly kill all the mobs in the audience. This kind of clearing feeling is great. Human, I didn't expect you to be useful. Sylvie raised her chest and said happily. Give you a chance to reorganize the language, just to be useful. Chen Yang glanced at her. Well, it's worth 100 million points. Sylvie pursed her lips. Do you have any other fun auras? Take them out and try them out. Fun halo. Chen Yang opened his own aura of life and fell into contemplation. Yes, why don't we play tonight? Quote. Sylvie's long eyelashes trembled slightly and looked at him suspiciously. Why at night? She always felt that this human being was a little malicious. Just 12 minutes. The second bronze level copy, clear the customs. Chen Yong took Sylvie, still maintaining an invisible state, and left the copy. At this time, Su Qimeng's team just arrived here. See from a distance. That dungeon entrance disappeared. Quote. Su Qimeng opened her mouth, but didn't say anything. She feels. Have you been targeted? Is it so difficult to find a bronze level dungeon to play? Not right. The entrance to this dungeon has disappeared, and there is still no figure around. I am afraid it is the lone wolf powerhouse. Why does he always get ahead of us? The fat warrior girl in the team frowned and said. Find another. Su Qimeng was also a little helpless. The other party has only finished a bronze level dungeon, and it has only taken 10 minutes to kill another bronze level dungeon. It can be seen that the strength is extremely terrifying. In front of this existence, Su Qimeng's S-level talent is simply not enough to see. Even if the copy was beaten first by the other party, what could she say? But she didn't expect it. Her nightmare today is still to come. Next, Chen Yong didn't specifically go to where she was going. Instead, he turned on the Vision of God halo and observed the entire secret area from the perspective of God. In the area, there are a total of 4 bronze level dungeons and 1 silver level dungeon left. After finishing these dungeons, we should be able to upgrade to level 10. Chen Yong is looking forward to it. At level 10, he can not only activate 3 auras at the same time, but also summon a second girl from another world. Then, he picked the nearest bronze level dungeon and rushed over with Sylvie. Coincidentally, Su Qimeng's next target is also here. However, when they arrived, they found once again that the entrance to the dungeon had just disappeared before their eyes. Quote. Su Qi dreamed numb. Her whole team was a little broken. Who is that hateful old sixth? Hey, isn't this the daughter of the old Su family? At this time, a middle-aged uncle who was patrolling in the secret area passed by and saw Su Qimeng and the others frowning, and came over curiously to ask about the situation. When the middle-aged uncle learned about the situation, he felt a little weird. A class that can stealth, grabs ahead of you every time, and beats the bronze level copy. Or a single brush. Is that impossible to know? These bronze level dungeon entrances are several kilometers away from each other, and it takes about 10 minutes to travel. Other side, he was able to rush over so quickly and hit the copy. How terrifying is that strength? If it is a class transfer person in the 20th or 30th level, then it can be done, but the key is that the other party has just brushed a 5th level dungeon, and it can be seen that the level will never exceed 8th level. And the first copy the opponent played was a level 1 copy. The other party is definitely a rookie job changer who just changed jobs today. Actually, he may not be targeting you. The middle-aged uncle thought for a while and said, it's just because your goals are the same, so you feel like you're always being robbed. There are already few bronze level dungeons in this secret area. Why don't you try silver level ones? Hear him say that. Su Qimeng was helpless. Uncle son, I haven't played a dungeon today, the level is only level 1. You asked me to go to the silver level dungeon, isn't that courting death? That's right, haha. The middle-aged uncle's son smiled embarrassedly, and then said, well then, I'll help you squat at the entrance of the next bronze dungeon to see who that person is. If possible, discuss with him and let him take the rest. I'll give you the bronze level copy of the dungeon. Let's think that he should give it to the face of our big school Su. Not necessarily. Su Qimeng shook her head. She recalled that at the gate of the secret area, Chen Yong refused her team. Certainly, she did not reject Uncle Sun's proposal, because Uncle Sun was already a powerhouse of more than 90 levels, and his strength was in the top 100 in the entire Zhongnan city. As a hunter occupation, he has an anti-hidden level of 11. It couldn't be easier to see through the invisibility of a rookie transferee. Anyway, Su Qimeng wants to know, who is the 6th child who has repeatedly stolen copies? More than 10 kilometers away. A copy entrance of a black vortex suspended in midair. The unshaven middle-aged uncle, Sun Xingfa, flew over all the way. Dungeon level. Level 6. Dungeon quality. Bronze grade. Number of copies, 1/4. Dungeon status, locked, cannot enter more job transferers. Really? Someone is swiping alone. Sun Xingfa checked the status of the copy, and his face sank. According to Su Qimeng and the others, this guy can clear a bronze level dungeon in about 10 minutes, and he is still a single player. If all this is true, this guy definitely has SSS level professional talent. Future achievements are much higher than that of a half-baked powerhouse like Sun Xingfa, and even surpass Su Qimeng's parents. For such an existence, Sun Xingfa was also very curious. So here he comes, level 95 hunter, personally guarding the entrance of this dungeon, and activated the anti-hidden skill, Eye of the Falcon. He has an anti-hidden rating of 11. In his opinion, no matter who this invisible boy is, he will definitely see through him. Naturally, Chen Yang didn't know that there was a middle-aged uncle guarding him outside the copy. But even if he knew, he wouldn't worry. Now he can activate 2 god-level auras at the same time. While remaining invisible, there are many other god-level auras that can be activated to deal with various situations. At this time, Chen Yang is focusing on taking his sister to brush the book, or, the sister is taking him to brush the monsters. After all, he used soy sauce throughout the dungeon, all relying on Sylvie to clear the monsters. If this scene is seen by others, I'm afraid that my eyes will pop out. This summoner is too fun to play, right? At this time, this level 6 bronze dungeon has 3 or 4 times the HP of the original goblins, exceeding 1000 points. But in the face of Sylvie, who is blessed by the invincible halo, still an instant kill. Now, with a single light of exorcism, she can cause 4 or 5000 damage. Even the group damage skill, Holy Meteor, can cause more than 2500 group damage to all enemies within the range. Double halo turned on. Sylvie pushes all the way. At this time, the elf princess was quite excited. Relying on her own invisibility, she ran around in the dungeon, ran rampant, and ran faster than Chen Yang. Pastors are gentle and quiet. It turns out is this ADHD? Chen Yang had a headache. Fortunately, when it came to boss, this girl was still cautious. Otherwise, there is a real risk of overturning. After all, although she is invisible, she is not invincible. If the boss throws a range skill or something, it is likely to kill her. When you reach level 10 and spawn monsters, can you turn on a defensive aura, or dodge aura or something? Chen Yang thought to himself. He walked slowly behind. It's been a great feeling to watch my experience skyrocket. Others go to great lengths to brush a copy. Chen Yang seems to be traveling in the copy. From start to finish, just go through it once. At most, after the battle is over, switch to the corpse-touching halo. The elf girl would happily pick up a bunch of trophies for him, making Chen Yang feel a little guilty. Is this girl too diligent? At this time, when he walked to the final boss room, he found that the final boss of this dungeon had been dropped by Sylvie in 2 seconds. This copy took 10 and 5 seconds, 1 minute faster than the last copy. Also, the level has been raised to level 8. Level 10 is still the last 2 levels away. Count it up. He only needs to get through the only silver level dungeon in this secret area, and the experience is enough to rise to level 10. Then, he first activated the god level corpse touching halo to drain the last remaining value of the boss. Then he took Sylvie and left the dungeon. The results are just out. He noticed that there was a middle-aged uncle in front of him who was watching him. Who is this person? Chen Yang frowned. He doesn't know each other, but he can feel the strength of the other party, and he is definitely one of the top powerhouses in Zhongnan City. This made him react immediately. Turn on the halo, Holy Hourglass. In addition to maintaining the sacred hidden aura, he also activated a sacred hourglass aura. Then, in the invisible state, he and Sylvie were each shrouded in golden light and entered a state of complete immunity to any damage. Certainly, because they are in a state of being hidden, the golden light is invisible to outsiders. Under the aura of the Holy Hourglass, he and Sylvie would not take any damage in any case. The disadvantage is, in this state, they themselves cannot move or cast skills. Why so nervous? It's for safety. After all, the opponent is a strong man who can kill him with any skill, so it's always right to be cautious. But Chen Yang found out. This middle-aged uncle doesn't seem to have any plans to use his skills. In fact, at this time, the middle-aged Sun Xingfa was completely stunned. Originally, he wanted to see who was swiping this dungeon alone, but he found that when the dungeon entrance dissipated, even he could not see anyone coming out of the dungeon. Sun Xingfa was dumbfounded on the spot. What kind of fairy is this? Even his level 11 anti-invisibility level can't see through the opponent's invisibility. Of course Sun Xingfa didn't know what he faced. It is a stealth level up to level 100. With his 11th anti-hidden level, he can only be a ghost if he can see through it. Don't talk about him, even if the top powerhouse in the current human society comes over, it is impossible to see through Chen Yang's invisibility. This scene let Sun Xingfa immediately realize that this genius in front of him will never be unknown in the future. This made his face become extremely dignified. Certainly. He also didn't forget the purpose of his coming here, to help Su Qimeng and ask for 2 bronze-level dungeons. Cough cough, my friend, I don't mean anything else. Just a request. There are only 3 bronze-level dungeons left in this secret area. Look, can you give these 3 bronze-level dungeons to others? Sun Xingfa immediately faced the air and started talking to himself. Between words, quite respectful. Quote. Chen Yang heard this. Then I know what this guy is doing here. He thought of Su Qimeng, the schoolgirl who had met several times before. I'm afraid it's not the one who called this girl. Chen Yang was relieved. Who do you think you are? Startle me. Chen Yang was a little speechless. Since there was no danger, he also cancelled the Holy Hourglass halo and regained his mobility. Sylvie, let's go. He switched back to the Power of the Wind aura. After the 10 times speed was turned on, he took Sylvie and turned around and left. In a hidden state, it's not just the body that others don't notice. Along with sounds, smells, traces of walking, etc., all will be erased. After all, this is a god-level talent. Naturally, it is impossible to easily reveal flaws. Then, until Chen Yang and Sylvie went away together. Then Sun Xingfa didn't even know it, and he was still standing there politely. Soon, the 4th daughter of Su Qimeng's team finally arrived late. It can be seen that they are on their way very hard. But they are only level 1 now, their agility attributes are not high, and they don't have any extra speed blessings. This speed is already the limit. Uncle Sun, how is the situation? Su Qimeng saw that there was no one in the field except Sun Xingfa, so she asked. I still haven't seen anyone. Sun Xingfa shook his head and sighed, but I told him to ask him to let a few bronze-level dungeons come out. He didn't respond, and I don't know if he heard it. Will he agree? You can't even see Uncle Sun. Not only Su Qimeng, but also the other girls in her team were dumbfounded. That guy is too outrageous, right? Xiao Su, stay away from this guy in the future. Sun Xingfa's vicissitudes of life showed solemnity in his eyes. We are not sure of his character, but we must not take the initiative to provoke him. Clear. Su Qimeng nodded solemnly. At the same time, her heart has set off a huge wave. This rookie transferee is not only a lone wolf, but also has a terrifying stealth level that even Sun Xingfa, who is over 90, can't see through. He definitely has an SSS level talent against the sky. It seems, the first high school class is definitely a fierce one. And for Chen Yang, the appearance of Sun Xingfa was just an episode. As for the other party's request. Anyway, Chen Yang only needs to play a silver level dungeon next, and he can upgrade to level 10, and he really doesn't need to play a bronze level dungeon. The rest of the bronze level dungeons are nothing to let them out. Soon, Chen Yang took Sylvie to the only silver level dungeon entrance in this area. From a distance, he saw that there was someone at the entrance of this copy. And it should be the class transfer team that was just withdrawn from the dungeon. Among them was a young soldier who was shot with 7 or 8 poisonous arrows, and it seemed that he was carried out by someone. Fortunately, after treatment, the situation seems to have improved. Although he didn't die, the man's face was pale, and he was afraid that he would have no fighting power in a short time. If you want to challenge difficult dungeons, you will often encounter danger. Professional transferees who are not talented enough have missed out on difficult dungeons in their entire lives. If they force their way in, there is a very high chance that something will go wrong. When Chen Yang passed by, he glanced at each other silently. Obviously, these transferees are not students of no one high school, but from other high schools. In Zhongnan City, there are more than 10 high schools in total. The transfer time of each high school is all staggered. From January to December, a group of students transferred jobs every month. In this way, the level distribution of job transferees in the city can be adjusted to be smoother, so that the dungeon resources around Zhongnan City can be used more rationally. Otherwise, if you change jobs in a hurry, low-level copies are simply not enough. In front of you, this silver level copy is a level 8 copy. Most of these transferees are students who transferred jobs last month. As a result, a month later, they are still playing level 8 dungeons, which shows that their talents are not very good. Very likely, it is the talent of D level, C level and the like. Rushing into the silver level dungeon, an accident is too normal. Enter the copy. Lock the copy. Chen Yang took Sylvie and did not stay outside, but directly into the copy. This scene, the 4 transferees next to him were all stunned for a moment. They were a little dumbfounded when they looked at the dungeon entrance that had been locked but only had 1/4 of them. Someone actually entered this silver level dungeon alone. Isn't this looking for death? And they just didn't see anyone passing by at all. This null dungeon, none of the 4 of us have beaten the first boss. Somebody wants to play solo. And he can be invisible. He must be a thief class. It's even more difficult to fight boss alone. I don't know who is courting death, so mindless. How about we wait for this person to send it, and then go in and touch his body? Since this person dares to go in alone, the equipment must be good. That's a good idea. ... The 4 of them have just been educated by the poison arrow of this dungeon little boss. If not, run fast. Afraid of dying inside. Now seeing that someone wants to play solo, they all sneer. This silver level dungeon is going to be solo. I'm afraid it's not a dream, right? Chen Yang had no idea what the people outside were thinking. But when he entered this silver level copy, the Null's lair, he observed it with the vision of God, halo, and learned that many of the Nulls were long-range attacks. It seems that it is not safe enough to play this copy in stealth. Chen Yang thought about it. Switch the halo, unbreakable plus holy shield. The direct, simple and rude 10-fold attack increases 10-fold defense. Before, Chen Yang and Sylvie's equipment was not very good. Even if the defense was 10 times, the final defense was not too high. But now it's different. On Sylvie, there is a full set of silver level priest equipment above level 5. On Chen Yang, there is a full set of silver level summoner equipment above level 5. Plus their level has risen to level 8. With this equipment, the physical defense and magic defense of the whole body have exceeded 300 points. To know, generally speaking, for a tank class of this level, the defense is only 400 to 500 points, and it is already relatively easy to carry such a silver level dungeon. And Chen Yang and Sylvie, after turning on the 10-fold defense aura of the Holy Shield, the defense directly skyrocketed to more than 3,000 points. What is this concept? This also means that one of the Nulls in this silver level dungeon, whether it is a mobs or a boss, can't break his and Sylvie's defenses at all. Then, the figures of Chen Yang and Sylvie appeared in this Null's lair. Hey, aren't you invisible again? The pointed ears of the elf princess trembled slightly, a little curious. However, this time she didn't feel inappropriate, but felt fresh. Because she found that there was a golden translucent barrier around her body, and she felt very safe when she looked at it. In fact, this girl has brushed up to now, and the initial freshness has passed. Constantly brushing monsters made her feel a little tired. Certainly, she also wants to become stronger herself, and when she returns to the elves, she can show off well. It never stopped. Therefore, pretending is often the driving force. This sentence is not unreasonable, and even this elf princess is not exempt. Turn on a defensive aura, try the effect, and let's go. Chen Yang glanced at his defense panel. 3,217 points. And this dungeon, the Null Chief with the highest attack, has only 900 attack power. Even if you count the skill bonus, it will deal a maximum of 1,500 points of basic damage. For other class transferees of this level, the damage of this attack is terrifying, and it is very stressful to resist the attack. This is the strength of a silver level copy. But in front of Chen Yang and Sylvie now, these attacks don't even count as mosquito bites. Then, the style of painting in this silver level copy has completely changed. Originally, the jackals in this dungeon had just repelled a team of transferees and were celebrating. Result: Exorcism Light, -8,995. Holy Light Meteor, -4,726, -4,698, -4,711. Even in 8th level silver level mobs have a HP between 2,000 to 500 points. Where can you withstand the beating under the god level halo? The most important is, these little monsters turned their heads and fired poison arrows at Sylvie. As a result, all the poison arrows were blocked by the golden translucent barrier around her. It can't break the halo's defense at all. If this is stealth, these little monsters shoot at random, and it is really possible to be shot by poison arrows. It's better to be positive. Chen Yang is quite satisfied with the effect. As for Sylvie, the elf girl's eyes also shined, and the human who summoned her. It's really too fierce. Even though Chen Yang has been following behind to make soy sauce. But she had absolutely no opinion. As expected of me. Other elves are not as lucky as this princess. Sylvie secretly snickered. With a flick of the little hand, another holy light meteor was released, and more than 20 gnolls fell to the ground at the same time, howling miserably. Then, the gray-white corpse halo swept across. Pieces of gold-level equipment burst out from these gnolls. Silver-level dungeons, in which mobs and bosses both drop silver-level equipment. Under Chen Yang's Loot +1 rank effect, all of them have been upgraded to gold-level equipment. It's too mindless. Chen Yang was a little emotional. If others knew how he made the copy, there would be countless people who doubted his life. We worked hard to get through the secret realm after untold hardships. Why don't you leave this invincible? Have to say. For Chen Yang and Sylvie, after getting the full set of silver level equipment, playing this silver level dungeon is no different from playing the bronze level dungeon before. It's seconds anyway, and there's no danger. Just 11 minutes later, one person and one elf were pushed out of the final boss room again. Also at this time, after the 2 elite guards of the bosses were killed, the levels of Chen Yang and Sylvie finally rose to level 10. Congratulations on your promotion to level 10. You have unlocked the 3rd Halo slot. Unlock the next Halo slot, level 15. The 3rd Halo slot, on. Chen Yang is in a good mood, which means that he can have more god-level Halo combinations. And it's finally time to summon his second summoned creature. When Chen Yang reached level 10, the first thing he did, naturally, summon the second girl from another world. There's just one big boss left, call him out to test his combat effectiveness. Although the mobs in the copy have been cleared. But to prevent accidents, Chen Yang first opened the Shenyan Halo. Then I found a wide place to prepare for the summoning ceremony. This made the elf girl Sylvie, who was also quite curious, followed Chen Yang and opened her eyes. She is looking forward to it. Also a little nervous. Where is the lucky one from, who is fortunate enough to be summoned by Chen Yang like himself? Soon, following Chen Yang's order, purple lines appeared on the bricks in front of him, gradually spreading and converging into a pentagram magic circle. Accompanied by a flash of purple light, a girl in a long black dress appeared from the magic circle. This girl just appeared. The elf girl on the side changed her face and took a fighting stance, as if she was facing a big enemy. Human, be careful. Sylvie suddenly stopped in front of Chen Yang. She looked vigilantly at the demon-like girl in front of her. I saw that the girl had long smooth purple hair, a pair of eyes with laziness and temptation, a pair of curved devil horns on top of her head, and her slender, snow-white legs were bent close together, which was extremely fascinating. In terms of appearance, this girl is not inferior to Sylvie at all. Even in terms of figure, he is more popular than Sylvie. No doubt, this is a succubus. In addition to being surprised, Chen Yang was a little bit dumbfounded about Sylvie's actions. Whatever he summons, even a succubus cannot be detrimental to Chen Yang as the master. But Sylvie should have made a conditioned reflex to protect Chen Yang. After all, in her world, succubus is quite an evil creature. Whether it is a human or an elf male, once encountering a succubus, the end will be very miserable. So, she subconsciously wanted to protect Chen Yang. Ha, humans, and elves. The succubus girl was summoned, and after seeing the situation in front of her, she looked a little surprised. Then, she looked around. It was found that the environment here is completely different from the dark world where she was originally. While she was observing the environment, Chen Yang checked her attributes. Succubus girl. Isabella. Age. Height. 172 centimeters. Weight. 48 kilograms. Bust. E. Leg length. When Chen Yang saw this panel, he couldn't help comparing it with Sylvie. Well, he's taller, has longer legs, and a bigger panda. As expected of a succubus. But, his original intention was not to look at this panel, but to look at the battle panel. So, after reading the girl's life panel, he switched to the succubus girl's battle panel. Succubus girl. Isabella. Current level. 1. Strength. 21. Physique. 26. Agility. 22. Spirit. 33. Talent. Mastery of Darkness SS level. The effect of black magic is increased by 50%, and you are proficient in the power of darkness. You can disguise as any female unit you have seen, so as to better survive in a world that does not belong to you. Skill 1. Arrow of Darkness. Condenses dark power to form arrows to attack a single target, causing moderate dark damage. Skill 2. Darkness Surges. Gather dark energy underground in an area, and after 1 second, dark energy spews out, causing a lot of dark damage to all enemies within the range. Cooldown for 6 seconds. Check out her combat attributes. Chen Yang was a little surprised. Finally got a serious fighting career. It's actually a dark magician. Chen Yang nodded with satisfaction. Have to say, this succubus girl named Isabella has 2 damage skills at the beginning, and the one with a 6-second cooldown is an area damage skill, and the damage is extremely high. You are the human who summoned me. The succubus girl looked at Chen Yang curiously, then pursed her lips and chuckled. Yes, Isabella is a dark magician, but Isabella can also be a dark magician, a magician. Question mark, question mark, question mark. When Chen Yang heard this, he suddenly had the urge to spurt blood. The same as the word, dark magician. But her sentence is broken in the middle, that feels completely different. Bold succubus. Don't even think about tempting this princess's summoner. At this time, Sylvie straightened her chest and stood up angrily, looking at Isabelle with hostility in her eyes. Sister elf. Isabella glanced at Sylvie, then at Chen Yang, covered her mouth and said with a chuckle, "Don't worry, my sister won't rob you." Nonsense. Sylvie blushed all of a sudden. This princess is not afraid of you robbing. No, it is this princess who does not care about this human being. It seemed that he felt his aura was suppressed. The elf princess was a little dissatisfied. She coughed. Besides, who is your elf sister? You should be called elf sister. Fine. Isabella seemed to be very Buddhist, and nodded obediently. Then I'll call you elf sister. Quote question mark quote. It seems that he did not expect that this succubus would compromise so easily. Sylvie was a little surprised and a little helpless at the same time. Everyone is like this. Wouldn't she look stingy if she was unrelenting? But, Sylvie is still very wary of Isabella. After all, the worldview for a long time has told her that succubus is an evil creature. This stereotype is not so easy to change. And this time, for the second girl he summoned, it turned out to be a succubus. Chen Yang was also a little surprised. Moreover, this succubus seems to be very Buddhist. Certainly, from Isabella's eyes, he could clearly see that this succubus girl was very interested in him. Kill the Null chief inside first. Chen Yang instructed to go on, without thinking about it for the time being. Finish what needs to be done first. Then think about something else. Then, he reactivated the aura, and 3 auras at the same time. Invincible plus Holy Shield plus 10 times the attack. 10 times the defense. Plus, God level crit halo. Fatal God level halo. All attacks of you and your summons must hit the weak point crit, and the crit damage is plus 300%. The effect of this battle halo is not as good as invincible in improving the output. But, the 2 auras are stackable. 10 times the attack, plus 3 times the crit damage, superimposed together is 30 times the final damage. So, the Null Chief of the silver level big boss was miserable. Exorcism Light. Minus 29,885 crit. Darkness Surges. Minus 19,257 crit. Arrow of Darkness. Minus 12,590 crit. Sylvie and Isabella, after breaking into the boss room, raised their hands to output. Less than 2 seconds. The Null Chief vomited blood and fell down. Never dreamed of this stuff. As the final boss of the silver level dungeon, it didn't even last for 2 seconds. What the hell? And this time, the succubus girl Isabella was dumbfounded on the spot after she released her skills. Originally, after she was summoned, she had always been calm. But seeing that silver level boss was killed in seconds. She is messy. To know, she had just been summoned, her level was only level 1, and her entire body only had initial equipment. As a result, there was a surge of darkness, dealing nearly 20,000 damage. She glanced at her panel suspiciously. Good guy. The attack power is 10 times higher than the initial. The crit rate is as high as 100%. Also has 300% bonus crit damage. In the status bar, the combination of the 3 god level halos made her look and look. Is this the halo from that young human being? Incredible. The original Buddhist succubus girl. When looking at Chen Yang again, a pair of beautiful and attractive eyes are full of curiosity. This human, it doesn't seem like an ordinary human being. And when the Null Chief was killed in seconds and the body fell to the ground, the massive experience provided made the succubus girl suddenly rise to level 8. As a summoner, Chen Yang and every summoned creature under him share all experience. In addition, low-level summoned creatures will also receive a high experience bonus. As long as they fight monsters together, they can catch up with the final level. It's level 8, you can wear the equipment dropped by this instance. Chen Yang looked at the corpse of the Null Chief and raised his hand. 3 god-level auras are activated at the same time. Blessings from the heavens plus desecration of the dead plus blessings of fortune. The former plus luck. The middle one is a god-level corpse-touching halo. The latter, it is possible to find 10 times the number of magic crystals from the corpse of the monster. The 3 are superimposed. Let Chen Yang's next copy income be unimaginably high. What's more, he is a single player, and the dungeon income is all he owns. After half a day, the magic crystals alone have harvested 320,000. More than 100 pieces of bronze equipment, more than 300 pieces of silver equipment, and more than 70 pieces of gold equipment. Now he is like a wholesaler of equipment and skill books. Putting these things on the market. At least 5 million can be sold. Chen Yang first selected the summoner, mage and priest equipment with the best attributes, and planned to sell the rest. Next, sell the equipment, eat something, and rest today. Chen Yang is satisfied. As for how to rest at night, cough. He first took Sylvie and Isabella and left the silver level dungeon that had been swept away. Then, Shenyan Aura plus Wind Power plus Wind Power. The combination of the 3 directly allows Chen Yang and the 2 women to fly at 10 times the speed in a stealth state. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. This moment, not just Isabelle, even Sylvie was dumbfounded. The superposition of 3 god-level auras, the effect is too fierce. Human summoner, you're so cute. The succubus girl winked like silk, looked at Chen Yang carefully, pursed her lips and chuckled. This human, in a short period of time, it brought her several surprises. Summoned by such a human. It seems very good too. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.